in that first half of Lotus, but after that, completely cruised through here. And Leaf has just continued his reign of terror since kickoff.
Leaf looked exceptional today, and to kind of touch base on Trace here as well. Map 1, there was chances. There were moments where we could have had genuinely a little bit of a closer game in my mind, but map 2 was all theirs. G2 look a cut above, really looked a cut above, played like the favorites. I know a lot of people were looking for a potential upset here, and G2 are having absolutely none of it.
Absolutely, no, and I just love how calm Valen is looking up there, right? He's playing up to the crowd. In comms, we heard him as well, keeping it chill, you know, making sure the team takes things slow, doesn't overhype, which can be easy to do when your chamber player only dies 4 times in an...
thrifty Esports พบกับ G2
2 contenders of Masters Bangkok. G2 Esports, the team that won it all back in Americas, and the ultimate underdogs in Trace. But Mimi, you hit the nail on the head. Bianchi has stood before a lot of Americans players before, and he has never lost against him. Will the streak continue today?
Trace is the ultimate upset team. You can never count them out completely, and they have had a hell of a lot of time to cook and come up with something special to catch G2 off guard.
And I think that is the biggest advantage that they have because China wrapped so early on. We saw what that kind of meant for EDG in their matches just yesterday. For Trace, how much have they been able to study G2? I'd guess a hell of a lot.
But they're starting things off on a map that we haven't seen a ton of from G2. They only played this Lotus once against Cloud9. I think they looked quite good in that map, but this is definitely comfort territory for Trace. They were playing a Fade Vice comp on this map last time they came out, but going into the later stages of this Veto, and it looks like really comfortable territory for G2. Yeah. Having both the Abyss and Pearl in there, I have a hard time imagining how Trace...
Well, taking a look at the agent selector, we will not get any changes.
Yeah, worried or potentially excited, but they're against G2. Do you believe the hype?
Honestly, I do believe the hype. I feel like they're almost kind of a fake second seed because of how well they were doing in the regular bracket up until the finals where they dropped to EDG. But at the same time, it's hard to believe in that magic in game 1 against so many people's tournament favorites in G2.
Round held very nicely in all of these pivots throughout the pistol.
Exactly. I think it was that shift over into the B site after the trap play, because a lot of teams, they'd stay in that same space, keep brawling to the death. G2 might have been able to fight it out, but instead, G2 fell exactly into the trap Trace were trying to lay there. It was layers on layers. The thinking man's Valorant team that Mimi was calling. That round is kind of crazy. The fact they only got 1 for 1 on that initial site hit. G2 then sort of switching up those players, right? Jogamo initially taking the fight up against Loking in Waterfall, only to then have him go over into the site with some really nice mid-round or post-plant decision-making from G2 that genuinely gave them a chance there in the eco.
I just think for Trace, you've got to get real tight on some of those opportunities. Giving those options over to G2, they're going to make...
Preview of how intense these rounds could end up playing. We'll see this again from Bianchi's perspective, the sole side anchor. Good for 1 there. But really this sets up for a very interesting round 4 because just about everyone in the server is 1 or 2 points away from the ultimate. Playing for those early ult orbs is going to be really important.
Just warming in. Good. 4 standing. A clean round for them, kind of getting past that C puzzle as well, not getting too phased by it, even with all the Viper utility on it and then kind of the Vice playing on it. They still made it through. So that's a pretty big tick in the box, I'd say, going into the rest of this game.
100%. And G2, they're sort of... They're set up well, as we are going to be jumping into a quick timeout here. G2 are set up well in...
Nervous here.
Because the main thing was, with China playing so much earlier than the other regions, they weren't really quick to adopt the Taeho, but we have seen EDG, they had that down on site, and even committing the Fatal to it, even with Sheriffs in hand, it doesn't matter, they're winning the round.
Look at this again.
It's just the quick calls coming in too, right? That smoke comes down, so
Yeah.
now how are G2 getting out of there? They've sort of lost the Yoru. He's way in the back line now. It's very awkward for them. You can see G2 are not, you know, the jumping in, going down with a, what was there, a judge trying to run him down in Jonah P's hands, then the double flash, Jaw's behind it. By the way, Jaw then, with a paranoia going up towards Heaven and the ultimate going into Link, takes the fight into Waterfall. Then as soon as Link opens up, he's flashing in there because he knows that A player is going to be flooding in.
You love to see that. That's a bit of magic. Jorgo on the other side of the map. This feels really out of sorts for the G2 I expected.
Oh no, and here you
Oh,
see it,
man.
right? Teleporting directly into the Season 8. G2 hadn't shown that fast of a look towards Rubble, so he thought he could get away with it. But then here in mid, what's going on with that? You hear the pit go down towards stairs, so you're expecting the aggro against a team that's down in numbers. I think Trace just sort of had G2's number there. Even the shorty coming out at the end was nice, but he gets taken down. Then there's a paranoia making it impossible for Jaw to play the round.
Now, this is kind of what I wanted out of this game, though.
Time for Valorant to sort of figure out what's going down. It's usually when teams are sort of blowing up the pace right from the get. A messy round at the start, but I think they've really pinpointed that C is going to be the weakness for Trace consistently. When they've been able to get onto that side, it's not been an issue. I also think the C anchors from Trace have played it the same way every round. They've played back in bend, and then they push up onto top site and try to look down on you when you come through the wall. And G2 have been very successful at picking off that player.
And now for a team that we've kind of given the credit of being quite a thinking...
I respect it. I respect it. It takes some guts to get up there and intentionally die to the molly to get the timing on the defuse.
Bless them. I mean, they are making G2 work for this. We are seeing that throughout, but I do have to give credit here to G2. That nice pause of the tempo reset, still effective trading towards tree. Like, they're managing these fires that keep breaking out over this map.
The most stacked roster we've ever seen on paper, but in reality, it has been Leaf, whether he's on the Viper, perma-locking in the chamber, just dominating servers.
We do have a couple ults starting to hit here as well. There's not too, I mean, you've got one away from Kai's there, you've got two away from Fung Funks, but on the other side, you're looking at Trent having theirs. And I'm impressed with Trace. I really am.
Genuinely. This is also like defense side Lotus. They put up 5 already. Still one more left to play.
And this is G2. Can we just put in context here how good G2 have looked? They have looked outrageous coming into this. The new meta suiting them well.
Spawn wins the fight, but can't secure the round. And I mean, look, this started out beautifully for G2, going for the fight in the back, but to win it like that makes you sit on the edge of your seat going into the second half.
Up and down the whole way through.
Especially considering that 2 of those rounds Trace got were just on ecos. Half buys, Sheriff. We have a 4v4 on site right now. It's time to go, go, go. And it worked perfectly for them.
Yeah, this just unbelievable. Leaf just, in any of these situations, he looks so clean with it. I don't understand.
I feel like Valorant right now is just a mini game where it's trying to get timings through smokes as often as possible. At least
that, which they were able to navigate nicely. Valen just impossible to pin down, super slippery towards CT, keeping them guessing, and that spike being dropped where it was just felt like that poison chalice. Whoever touched it just met that end.
You just instantly go down. We're trying to throw smokes and whatever. It's not going to work. Yeah. Trace now, though, they've got to bounce back into this round. Otherwise, it is falling apart. And importantly, with buying a few pistols there for Trace, I don't know, the bro's unkillable. He was on 10 HP for 3 different fights.
Whole time. What on earth? Like, look at this.
Oh, that was even a refight after he'd been tagged. Getting the kill on Jog.
Just didn't care.
Fair play.
I guess if you just hit the headshot, what does it matter?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, look at this guy, just light work for him. He's so cool under it.
Structure their defensive sides is how they'll sort of play similar rounds back to back. You think to the pistol in round 2, they showed 2 very active looks towards the A site. Then round 3, it's nobody really on A, it's just the Yoru, and they're pushing out through C. So this round, they only show the Yoru at the start, and it comes with that refight that Tracers aren't expecting at all.
Oh my god!
10 rounds, you can see the smiles starting to break out. They've made it to double digits. They forced the timeout for Trace. That's kind of you start in my mind. The first half was still very much anyone's game, I felt. Trace very much in touch here, but coming back, turn the screws a little more, but somehow, some way, Trace win out in so many of those situations.
Fung was just an absolute hunter here. Heat-guided missile to take out Trent at the start of the round, but really it was this shot onto Jonah P from Hebei. It turns into a 3K for him, but it also just opens up that extra angle into sight on the post plant. That was just too much for John Valen to deal with. They needed for that A fight right there. Jaw taking this timing. Again, Valorant is just a game where you push through the smoke on a timing, and if you get the kill, you win the round. It's exactly what it meant for Jaw right there. And then having the ultimate as well to, again, just have full information of what Trace were doing on the map. So they can get those walls starting to close in. Hebei took a beautiful timing there. He heard one player reloading, so knew he had a 1v1 on site. Wins that one and secures the round, because that was so chaotic. I mean, the Viper's pit on site. Don't forget, he also found that kill on the A side of the map. But there you go, here's that reload. And doesn't waste a moment with it.
Okay, okay.
First half, coming in here with a fire under them. I mean, Trent absolutely popping off with the Sheriff. Started off great with that C fight as well. Not sure what happened with Fung dropping off of that perch from him, but that just cooked the round completely.
Starting to show a little bit more of that pedigree there, that potential with G2. Looking deadly, and they near on have the full hand of ults as well to depend on, barring Jorgamos. They've got everything they need. A broken buy for Trace, but hey, this is what happens when you play up against some of the best in the world here. You got to deliver where it matters. Trent, very deep with the utility. This map feels tiny for Trace.
Trace, they've got the Visol to play with, but Jaw's trying to get right up in their face. He's going for a fight.
Oh, this man's looking nasty. This is the moment the Jorg always seems to shine. How's he getting out of there? How is Trent alive still? What is this bloodbath we are witnessing? Jonah P, he fancies a go at it. This is a mental round.
Q Rocket Man as Fung goes flying into the air. G2 are still hanging around though. They're still fighting for this space beyond K and Fung. We're gonna take them down and open up this site.
Force them back into place, force them to heal a little. That's too far. G2 wants to remember there's some fire with these Trace boys.
Look at Leap though,
Oh,
hanging
God.
out here. He gets one, he gets two, and he's still looking for more.
Unbelievable from Leaf. And even in the back of his mind, he read it right. He buys the time, he reads around, and Kai from high hopes. So what could be a corner with a shorty in it, Leaf?
25 seconds.
Oh, just that taste of potential for Trace there. Maybe the game could have continued, but Leaf, I think, might have crushed this one. Look at the spike, and Kai has to try and fight. He does. 13 seconds, you gotta go now, Kai. It's game on. Oh, no! Heartbreak for Kai, and composure for Valen. 13-8.
Leaf is just an animal in the server. What a beast. Taking down 3 there. The round was completely lost from G2, but he keeps his head high and carries it through.
Water? Why'd you say it like that? Water. How do you guys say water? Water. I say it with a D as well. Water, water, water. Can I get a bottle of water? Water. Can I get a water? Water. Can I get a water? Can I get a water? Dude, I feel bad for our voice comms editing. We're just stupid.
Jet, I'm like, it's a little bit 2024 for my liking, you know? I'd like to see more Vi's. Not ready. Like, how often are you getting breach done all the way on top mid?
Again, I think this is where we are going to... I'm going to keep a real close eye on this. And Choco just... They're so confident in this too. You're seeing G2...
Playing off-site with those players. We're going to stop that one from slipping away.
Did get a little nervous when they made it out to backside so freely, but... well played in the end between Hebei and kind of the swing on site from Kai. It was enough to at least get into this deeper post plant.
And you're going to end up seeing that a lot from Trace, sort of, you know, sending Kai in to find...
I like what we're doing. I like what we're seeing from them. They found room to work towards A here, right?
Yeah, and especially after that first round of playing A where they fell pretty much all offside except for Kai. Then to have this look where Fengfeng's up in your face and they're just recycling smokes back towards spawn, playing right up flush with it. It's a really nice adjustment round.
Breaks. They want to find a bigger, I guess, answer back here, but I don't know what the holistic answer is. Is it trying to get aggressive somewhere? Map one's got to have stung. You know, that was the map you were meant to do well on, the one you had in your pocket for Trace. They need some stability here.
100%. And, you know, now seeing that aggro look from G2 shutting that down after playing more controlled early rounds. They've seen next play, they already know what you're going to do. So their weak side retracts, their aggro side speeds up. It's just that cross-map macro that I think G2 have really mastered. And that comes with keeping 4 players of your core roster year to year, bringing Jogamo seamlessly into this team. It's what allowed them to dominate in Americas and really follow from Trace into the site. Yeah, they're gonna use the Astral, but they don't want to commit any more than that into the play down in numbers, and probably a good thing too, the way that G2 are just taking those little angles around the smokes. Trent's ultimate too, just precise, pixel perfect.
But I'm happy to see this timeout here because kind of when we discussed the switch up from G2s where we saw Leaf kind of his new position towards A, the pressure through middle from Jorg, and it didn't feel like Trace could come up with the answer on the fly here, right? They haven't found that solution.
The smoke as it was coming down. But yeah, so we're flashed and now the smoke is gone and we're in. But G2 had just already rotated so many players over because Trace paused and waited that 10 seconds before going for the forward fight.
That can't be the answer. That can't be the answer, boys.
And that's a round where they had every ult in the book and they didn't use any of them.
Huh. Just perfect from G2 there. Again, the ult so stunning. And Jorgamo just feels like perfectly controlled chaos. Right? I don't know how he does this. Look at
that play, and then he just jumped back through the wall. He's fighting in again with his flash. But this is what I'm talking about. G2 play like macro timing so well. When Jaw's going for that refight, 2 seconds later, Trent is then shooting them in the back. It's that combination that on those post plants, that's probably an adjustment that came in from Josh RT in the timeout, you know, around 5 when they lost that eco as well. But you've got a dart landing, you've got Jonah P jumping onto site. They're not going to let you through that choke point.
They are genuinely a treat to watch right now. This is genuinely very good Valorant from G2. You feel for him almost for Trace. They're not getting off these starting positions, right? Like, look at this. God.
Playing fearless, AU even thinks he kills Bianca. He's like, I'll deal with you later.
Come back around.
Get the second one first. Just wild. But genuinely, think of the shift this team had between round 4 and 5. Getting no kills. That said though, I want to make sure he can have that because I think if he can't be finding openers with the operator, G2, they're looking way too clean. They're going to run you over.
Pressure half here for Trace. G's closed out.
It's grim here on the defense side, but you might have to go for a force if you're Trace.
Yeah, I want to see what they go for here because you're going to run it back the whole way.
Are you going to win on 13-11? I don't know. Or at the very least, channel some of that eco nonsense from Lotus.
What just happened?
Get yourself back into things.
What just
Having around.
Sure.
Jorg having around. I mean, list the roster.
Yeah, we forget that Trent was completely dominating on the first map, 23-11. Just snuck up on us out of nowhere.
Okay.
Similarly impressive performance on this map.
I shot around that guy.
On you. You know G2 were up on map point. And it hurts as well because Kai had a great shot at the start.
Yeah.
He was starting to feel himself get back into this game, something like that.
Oh man. This is a rotten timeout too. Just so you know, the timeout has hit here for Trace. Burning this. You can see the frustration. And even the elation on the other side, probably curious that they got away with it. Let's do that one.
Yeah,
I wonder what was said. But at 12-3, this is what we're saying. It was going to only ever take G2.
G2 have really locked in, and I don't think Trace has been able to really piece together the answers. It's been a while since we've seen Trace on a stage. Played much further back in.
Brutal to try and hold on to here. G2 on the verge of a very clean map. And they stick the landing.
I don't know if G2 blowing up mid was going to be on my bingo card coming out of that timeout, but actually maybe even just doing it a fake. They threw that Astra smoke down, had that teleport noise, so Trace knows something's funky is going down, but really G2, they're just going to have a free B site to get this plant down on.
Hey, red carpet's rolled out. Perfect. All on the retake.
After the plant, Trent's just going to be one off ultimate as well, so G2 could just fall back and play a rolling post.
I love that Leaf still has his position, no threat of the lurk. Doesn't have to stick around too long. Jorgamo already going to take away Fung Fung. Leaving just 3, and Kai copping a boatload of damage. Again, no shields to bank on here. Jonah P feeling confident, having a little go at things. Keeping them spammed out, keeping them down. Under the heel, G2 just need one more man, and they got it. Clean work. Playing to their own expectations, their own caliber, and crush any chance of this underdog story today.
That's the debut every G2 fan wanted to see. Coming in to Bangkok here with higher expectations than they have ever had, right? Coming as the first seed out of Americas, the huge signing of Jogamo in the offseason. Started off a little bit wobbly in that first half of Lotus, but after that, completely cruised through here. And Leaf has just continued his reign of terror since kickoff.
Leaf looked exceptional today, and to kind of touch base on Trace here as well. Map 1, there was chances. There were moments where we could have had genuinely a little bit of a closer game in my mind, but map 2 was all theirs. G2 looked a cut above, really looked a cut above, played like the favourites,